Well, fuck me sideways and call me the village whore. It would seem that the Rift, or Secret Rift, or whatever they've changed their name to this week, just can't keep it in their fucking pants. I could talk for hours about all the little things the prominent members do to alienate people, but for now let's focus on a common offender, Anthony Aguilar, or For No Good Reason, a name that accurately summarizes his entire motivation for everything he does. We've talked about Aguilar in the past, and how he's a cloying bully desperate for attention and exacting vengeful crusades against anyone who looks at him funny. Aguilar's obsessed over me in the past because for a while I was the only one who wouldn't take his shit lying down or accept his "at least I admit to my flaws" excuses. When Bug Spray went up, his best attempt at a retort was to bring someone else onto his deranged idiot show to pretend to tell embarrassing stories about me, somebody whose story changed and became more melodramatic literally every fucking time they came on. But the rabbit hole just got a little deeper, because not only is Aguilar a lying, cloying, insecure bully, he's also a sexual predator as well. Because of fucking course he is. This is the story of Buttons Pastel, a very vulnerable person who Aguilar preyed on in a time where they were experiencing very little support from the people around them. Aguilar and Buttons started dating in April of 2017, and Aguilar almost immediately began manipulating them into a lot of very twisted sexual situations, including, but not limited to, daddy kinks, role-playing as underage characters, and treating them like a friend with benefits who you don't really see as a friend. Aguilar's abuse of Buttons was guised under a deluge of gaslighting from the rest of the Secret Rift. They, like every other simpering lazy fuckhead in the community, conditioned Buttons to believe that they were triggered too easily, and that their very real post-traumatic stress disorder and previous abuse trauma was too much of a burden to bear. You remember how I talked about Zach's circle of friends being all too eager to ignore the gaslighting and abuse he was pulling? Well, it seems the Secret Rift and Limbo were all too eager to participate in the gaslighting and abuse that Aguilar was pulling. In fact, this very video was meant to come out a while ago and focus on the Secret Rift, but upon hearing that there was the possibility of this going public, Aguilar got very scared very quickly and desperately started screaming at Buttons with his usual "but Lily" deflections that all of these fuckheads engage in whenever their behavior is criticized. He was so desperate to keep this under wraps that his usual facade of being aloof and above it all completely dropped, and he showed his hand by behaving like the screaming little bitch that he is. Oh, and by the way, Aguilar's almost 40 and Buttons is 20, and they started dating when they were 19. Now, under normal circumstances, that's just a questionable footnote, but when you combine this with the insistent daddy kink and the role-playing as underage characters without even the pretense of aging them up, I'm not saying Aguilar's an active pedophile, but I am saying that if the age of consent were to be lowered, he'd be throwing a wild party about it. Actually, I guess I am saying he's a pedophile, just one who knows how to follow the letter of the law, if not the spirit. None of this should be particularly surprising, not only because these corners of the brony community have demonstrated time and time and time again how fucking gross and disgusting they are, and Aguilar has been the poster child for disgusting, perverted, angrily deflecting bronies for years now. It's not surprising, it's not news, it's practically banal. And that's a terrible situation to be in, because the moment something gross becomes banal, we stop caring about it, the silence creeps in, and these shy-talks continue pumping out horseshit until it's basically acceptable. This is why I want to see this kind of shit as headlines, as breaking news, treated like a big deal. I'm convinced that the only reason that Zach's friends cut him out at all was for the sake of their own reputations. They directly admitted this in the call with Zach, and their actions since then have only reinforced it.
We can't associate with this. We cannot.
Seriously?
Seriously, we cannot.
Sorry.
We can't be associated with this. Your choice, what you chose to do, affects all of us too. And sorry, dude, but we're not going to be dragged down with you.
Now that is irony.
They put up a facade of caring about shit, but when the time comes to actually deal with it, they can't be fucking bothered. There is no excuse for Aguilar to continue being welcome in these groups other than that the people running them were actively endorsing his kind of bullshit. He's been a predator and an abusive fuckstick for so long that the previous statement should have applied. It should not have been a surprise that he was this much of a creep, and the only reason nobody did anything about it was because they just didn't care. They'd rather take it out on the people bringing it up, accuse them of causing trouble and drama, and go right back to doing nothing while this creature goes about sinking his teeth into his next victim. I said this would happen again if the community continued sitting on its hands doing nothing, but why would anyone listen to me? I'm only consistently right about this shit. Fucking waste of skin, I fucking tell you.